Hello and welcome back to the shop. This is Josh. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. So, left off just rough installing the engine and transmission into the truck, and I finished tightening the bolts for the motor mounts. I still have some work to do for the trans cross member and such, but I want to get started on putting some of the accessory drive and some of the other parts onto the engine while I can get to it. You know, I want to get to the body assembly, but I don't want to be leaning over the fenders and the core support and stuff with my feet dangling up in the air to get this stuff put on a little later. So I want to get it while it's all nice and front and center and easy to get to. So I brought in a whole bunch of boxes, all sorts of stuff that I got. You know, I got the original water pump here, but in here I've got a brand new water pump just because why not put a new one on while I'm in here right now. And this one has a decent amount of surface corrosion on it, so it's probably a little older. Same thing, I grabbed a brand new you know, belt tensioner pulley, like right here, you know. Figured might as well while I'm here. And I got a new thermostat and housing, just so it looks a little bit more decent. I am reusing the power steering pump bracket. It's a pretty substantial piece on the trucks here. And then you see the alternator looks kind of crusty as well, so I might run into the parts store and see if I can't swap out, if they've got a Delco that I can grab. Decent one. But yeah, this thing, I'm going to take the pump off because I'm going to get a new one that's a non-hydroboost pump and clean this one up. I may or may not hit it with some paint or clear coat or something, but I want to make it look as decent as I can, right? But yeah, I'm itching to you know, get some progress going on here besides just bodywork stuff. So earlier today, finally broke down and swapped out, pulled the rally wheels off, and I stuck these nice 17-inch American racing wheels on there that I got, these torque thrusts I got earlier this year. Part of why I did that was because of the drop spindles that I put on for the front end to lower it. So the drop spindles are nice, and it's the way I like to lower, rather than like cutting the springs like that, you know, put drop springs or cutting springs. Because when you do that, you change the rest of the geometry of the suspension as well. When you change the spindle location, everything else is exactly the same. Unfortunately, the spindles are made so that your tie rod end goes to the exact same spot it would have before. So on non-drop spindles, it kind of comes, the arm for it comes straight forward. But because it's moved that location down relative to the center of the wheel, on a 15-inch wheel, this hit. First time I bolted the wheel up, it didn't turn. I was like, oh no. So they were supposed to be able to fit factory 15-inch rally wheels, and they didn't. So I've got these nice 17-inchers, and I've got the other ones listed for sale now because I don't need them anymore. They're in the way. But these just look fantastic. Oh, here's a nice little ASMR. Ooh, peeling the plastic off. But I've got those put on all four sides. Then I've been working on the bed. So this is what I'm going with for the bed. I got cheapo pine that I routed, the grooves for the wear strips, and then I bought polished stainless steel wear strips. Originally I had mild steel ones, and I had, pardon me, painted with epoxy primer. I was going to paint them bed color, but the epoxy wasn't quite sticking very well. I wasn't able to get a good tooth, like a scratch, over all of the strips, and on the areas where it was kind of smoother and I didn't have a good surface texture, it just was like sloughing off, or, you know, scraping off really easily. So if I put anything in the bed, it would have just scraped along the edge and pulled whatever paint and primer off and just looked horrific. So I decided to just go with the stainless steel, and I was going to get a non-polished stainless steel and either polish it myself or leave it unpolished, but I did a search and I got a result on an eBay store, and they had the full polished stainless steel bed strips for the short bed step side for like 200 bucks and then like 30 bucks shipping or something, and they showed up 2 days later and looked fantastic, and they were some of the best packaged stuff I've ever received. So they came in that super thick cardboard tube, and then each one of these had a thick plastic sleeve over it so they wouldn't scuff each other. So that came in fantastic. I was really pleased with that. But I've got some parts that I'm waiting on. I got a little bit of modification to do for the shift linkage for the transmission, which I got started on the other day. So that'll either be in this video, or maybe I'll do a video that's specifically like buttoning up the transmission and shifter linkage and stuff. We'll see how that goes, whether I get to that or not. But today, at least, I'm going to start and use this fully assembled water pump, you know, as a reference when I put the new one together, and just start hanging some accessories on the front. I've got cast iron exhaust manifolds that are LS swap for this thing, that have a nice tight tuck to them. Down tubes that are matched specifically for a square body Chevy truck. So I can start building the exhaust system, and that will be a video in itself, fabricating that one. I plan on TIG welding a full length 3-inch exhaust system out of stainless steel, so stay tuned for that one if you're interested in that. But lots and lots of stuff to do, so let's jump in and get going. I'm going to start here with a kind of an unboxing or whatever, how this came. I grabbed this off of Amazon, but okay. Got the gaskets taped up here so they don't get all beat up. That's a really good idea. And water pump. Ooh, that pulley looks way nicer. It's not all corroded, so that's good. Let's grab this thing out. We'll use this tire here as a work stand. I'm going to set the camera up. I got two hands. Here we go. AC Delco replacement part instead of some, you know, house branded one from the auto parts houses. I love how that rings. Gasket there. And I tried grabbing Delco or GM genuine parts where I could. Just because I don't want some cheapo aftermarket thing to break on me. If you can afford it, go for it. If not, that's fine. You know, you go to Rock Auto and they got all the different price options. I just wanted to go for the nice ones because I can afford it now. And that's, why not? So, cool. Got that there. It says to reuse all the original hardware from before. It doesn't come with new stuff. So that's fine. Yep, and we got a belt tensioner. So, pardon me. Go right there. Hold everything in. Cool. Now let's hold the old one up to it and just look and make sure everything looks like it should. And just do quick a visual and make sure that you don't have some like glaring difference like this being, you know, a lot larger or smaller. I don't know how many different versions there are for LS stuff. I know the car water pumps are different than trucks and all, but this is looking like their same interfaces and stuff, just a little nicer machined on here. So yep, that looks to be the same layout. So first one, spring clamp for the hose. I like that. And I'm going to go grab a couple of sockets and transfer that bolt over. I'm glad I had this sitting on the floor for almost a year with the hardware sitting in exactly the right spot where it came out, so I didn't have to think later on down the road. They both ring out really nice. So this is a plastic cap for the threaded on fan, so I'm going to leave that on at the moment. Oh nice, build a little coolant. Turns out this particular thermostat housing requires a fiber gasket along with the rubber ring that comes on it. There's also an O-ring style, but I don't think that's what this one is because there's no real machined area for it to go into. I was thinking these LS things avoided this kind of stuff, you know, because the gaskets that hold the water pump to the block had the nice like built-in rubber rings and stuff on it. So live and learn. So, put a little smear of silicone on it, and I'll rub it in. Don't need to be whopped on there. Yeah, really not a fan of having to do this on a newer type one, because the one that I pulled off of here didn't use a felt, or you know, the fiber gasket style. I don't like getting messy with it. Set that there. Put a little touch of it on this side. The instructions it came with said it will leak if you don't use some silicone with the fiber gasket. It says it can also cause your pump to fail if you put way too much silicone on, so don't use that orange stuff that's supposed to be used for sealing up exhaust systems. Nothing looks worse than that orange silicone popping out. I like the ultra gray or ultra black, but the gray kind of hides with the cast aluminum. These are a lot smaller bolts, so I'm using my stubby ratchet. I'm not using that electric driver I was using earlier. I don't want to strip these things out. Calibrated elbow says that's torque. A little grumpy because of that. Alright. That gasket on. Make sure I don't have any grit on the one I just dropped and clean it off. There we go, put that gasket on. And this one just goes on dry, it doesn't need any silicone. Run these in close with this thing. Snug them up by hand. Alright, let's get our torque wrench out. Alright, water pump bolt specs. First pass 11 foot-pounds, second pass 22. Next here, I'm just going to put, I've got a bypass for the heater core, because I didn't know if I was going to have the air conditioning system installed right away or not. Now that I have it, I'm probably going to just go ahead and install the heater hoses eventually, but for right now, just keep junk out of here. I'll just go ahead and shove this thing on here just to keep stuff out and maybe justify my purchasing of it in the first place. There. If say you don't need one, it's just a little bypass right there, and you put your hose clamps on. But that's not a permanent installation for me. It's just sitting there for temporary right now. And that might also be the case with this belt tensioner. I think that gets relocated into a different spot for the relocated AC compressor. So I'm not going to torque this down fully just yet, because it's probably coming off here whenever I grab that adapter. I'm going to go grab that, and we can see what that entails. Alright, this rear AC mounting bracket goes to the head with a spacer and a countersunk bolt in 2 locations. Get this one started. I had to chase the threads just a minute ago. They were kind of binding up. Alright. That one goes here. Bolt behind it. There we go. There, that goes in nice and smooth. Yeah, it was way too tight earlier. That's better. All right. Alright, next step is to put this front mount on. So you grab the longest bolt in the kit. This one. I'm going to smear that anti-seize into the threads. There we go. So feed that through that hole. And a spacer. And then a spacer behind it that's the same length as the first two that were used here down there. So put this one right in there. It's going to take me a second. Can't do it with the phone or the camera. There we go. Let's see if I got an Allen of that size. Is that probably something like 8mm? Oh yeah. Pretty good at guessing those. Leave that kind of loose. Alright. So our next step is to put these other two spacers and these other two countersunk bolt locations here. Like ones with, yeah. With these, I think that's back to the smaller Allen head. Yep, 6mm. I don't know where they needed to send fully threaded hardware when it's only going in on a very narrow piece on the end. Doesn't make a sense, but maybe it's just an affordable one that they can get that they like. This first one goes right here. Next one, this lower strut right there. Okay, so there's the bracket, kind of loosely installed here. So next step is grab my air conditioning compressor and mount it on here. And since that's going to be a little heavy, I'm going to kind of get it in place, and then we'll go in detail with the camera around it once it's in place. So here's how the spacers go. You got the countersunk bolt, thin spacer washer, stainless steel washer, lock nut, and on the back side you got the thicker one, and everything's referenced from the back side of the bracket on the front bracket. So same for the upper and the lower ones. I had misplaced my fourth lock nut, so looking around a little bit for it. It's a little messy, the workstation here. So I should probably pick up a little bit before I get too far along. Alright. Get the bottom one installed. So that thing looks pretty nice. Stout. The lines I got for my direct fit kit for the vintage air conditioning system are for a driver's side mount air compressor, air conditioning compressor off of a factory like 305 setup. So I'll have to trim the lines down, but I've got the crimping tools, so they come with the fittings loose, and you get the hose and you just cut it to the length you need and terminate it, so I can make my own custom lines for this one, which is my plan. But man, that feels good. I've had these parts sitting around since 2020. I finally got them installed. So, well, the Dirty Dingo adapters I got after I bought the truck for the LS swap, the donor truck. So I bought the adapter bracket last year, but this air conditioning compressor I actually bought when I got the AC system for this truck, and that was quite some time ago. So feels good to have that installed. So I'm going to kind of check my alignment, which looks pretty good. I'd gone with an 8-rib belt set up for this one. I was going to go wider, so it'll have an extra rib than what's needed, but it's not going to hurt anything to have that on there. So the nice part about the instructions on their website, they tell you exactly which Gates belt you need to run for your serpentine kit with this setup. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So alright, I think our next step is the idler and tensioner arms. So I'll pull up the instructions and get going on that part. Alright, the next thing is to install the idler pulley. Just a simple idler here. And it's got a bolt and a washer and then a spacer. So the bolt goes here like so, and then the spacer that it rides on from the back side, and those go in here. They actually get threaded into the bracket, but to secure it so it doesn't come loose, it's got a stainless washer and another lock nut behind it to really seal it down. So get that cinched on, then we can move on to the tensioner. Alright. Idler. It likes to line up nice with the drive on the compressor. And last but not least here is the tensioner. So it's got a little spacer here and 2 little buttons, and those go into these recessed pockets here and thread into that hole. Like so. This one gets torqued to 28 foot-pounds. Perfect. Little tool show and tell. This kit that I got here for all the different hexes that are both 1/4 inch, 3/8, and then 1/2 inch drive is fantastic. I got this thing, and I can use those even in like the original door strikers had a Torx bit, and then this has, you know, an Allen for the door striker. But I got all these different sizes of like socket cap screws and stuff like that for all the different Allen heads that are in there. And instead of having to use one of these things, you can actually use a nice wrench. So I like the ball end ones, but I really like this thing, and it was really cheap comparatively on Amazon. I was just did a search on it one day, and it's got SAE and metric in there, and I really like that one. But I think I'm going to call it for tonight. It's getting a little late. I took a 5-minute break in between mounting the compressor and putting the pulleys on, and walked my dog. He dug a mole up. It was 45 minutes before I made it back out here, so it's a little later now. So plus with this cough I've got, I want to kind of go inside, get some rest. But tomorrow I'll come out here and work on the bracket for this side for the power steering pump and the alternator. And I'll probably go run to the store and grab a new alternator and power steering pump to put on here. So anyway, we'll pick this back up tomorrow morning. Hello. Well, it's about 2.5 weeks since I left off here. I don't know if you noticed, I was doing a decent amount of coughing leading up to the end of that video, where I recently left off. And I came down with a nasty bronchitis, just coughing, and it was awful. Another one of those wonderful joys of having a kid in daycare. It like destroyed me. So I did a little bit of work since the last video. Continuing on, I did manage to get the new water pump, or not water, power steering pump installed. Take a little puller and pull this pulley off, and there's a couple bolts behind that to hold it to the bracket here. I installed the original alternator. Got the serpentine belt that I needed and have it on here. So this high mount AC compressor bracket and relocation thing, it places the air conditioning system in line with the rest of it. So on a factory installation, it uses the back groove and it's sitting down here, but you got to kind of notch the frame and stuff if you want to use it that way. And one of the bolts is in the way for using this side engine mount adapter plates. So I went with this one because it's all one piece. And yeah, the recommended belt from the company worked out real nice. So still have a bit to do here. I haven't done the cross member yet. I was looking at mounting up the shift linkage rod, but with the 4L80 that I'm using here, that shift point is further back for the input. So I've got some rework to do, which I'll show on camera. But I've also, since the last video, I put in the front and rear windshields. So I went with the self-locking gasket that didn't have the insert lock piece in it, because I thought that would be kind of difficult to run that in. And then it turned out that just folding the lip underneath for this style of gasket took me 4.5, 5 hours across a couple of days, because fighting this cough and stuff that I had, I didn't have a whole lot of energy. But yeah, that was a pain. But the rear one is really easy to rope in. That was not bad at all, and I think it's looking fantastic. So yeah, that's good. And then, yeah, the front windshield here, I'd got the tinted version, and it kind of looks good with the blue. I was a little worried that it wouldn't kind of match. I have installed the dash pad temporarily. I'll have to pop it out. I still have some stuff to do, but I wanted to make sure it would fit up tight and nice, and I did some trimming with it because it comes oversized. Still might need to do a little trimming here so the gasket can fit here for the door gasket and make that weather seal good. But anyway, so while I was out and just kind of trickling on working on things, the specific car show event that I've been working to get this truck put together for, that kind of timeline, they moved that car show from August to June. So instead of having a couple of months, I got 3 weeks to put all of this junk in the truck. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of thrashing, and I'm going to have the camera with me along the way. So this will actually be a good thing for the channel, I think, because it's going to mean I'm going to be putting out more videos, or at least recording more stuff than I usually have been. So I'm hoping to have a kind of a burst of videos here at the beginning of the summer as I get this truck put together, and then working on other projects and stuff. So I've got an update on Tri-5 stuff, but I'll do that in a separate video. But anyway, this is going to be quite a heavy thrash to get all this stuff. I've got some older pieces that I need to like refurbish and kind of paint up to use like door hinges and the seat tracks and stuff. Some pieces I'm going to use for like templates, like these original lower door panels. I'm going to use them to make vinyl over like board and stuff. I'll make my own little lower ones, kind of reproduction stuff that I'm making. Some things like these kick sill cover plate things for the rocker panels, just wipe them down, clean them up, see if they can be you know, decent looking and usable. I got the visors. I might grab some color bond paint to change the color on that to black to match the rest of this stuff. I've got interior trim pieces that I'm going to be using to hold up the headliner. Some of them I've already got painted black. These need to be cleaned up and painted. You know, I've got new mirrors, new signals, new headlights. I don't have any brake parts at the moment, so I need to go get some calipers, pads, and hoses to hook the brake system up. I do have the original vacuum booster and master cylinder sitting over there in that coffee can. I'm gonna probably go get a new master cylinder instead of trying to bleed that one. It's kind of old and crusty anyway, but the booster should be good here, so I'll just clean that up. Got a brand new coolant overflow because the other one got kind of hurt in the accident that hurt the donor truck, so this thing be brand new and get that mounted in. Got to wire in gauges here for a Dakota digital gauge set that I've got, which will be pretty neat because it'll run off OBD2 from the PCM from the donor truck that I need to get mounted and installed. So yeah, big thrash coming up, but I know this video kind of took a quick left turn, but so did my health for a little bit. So now I'm feeling strong and I have an extremely truncated time schedule. I'll be in the garage here thrashing a whole bunch for your enjoyment, so stick with me. And next video, I don't know exactly what I'll be working on, but I'm going to try and cram a lot in there. So thanks everyone for watching and sticking with it, and I'll catch you next time.